Hello, Blue Jays, and welcome to The Nest, stories about life after Manor College. I am your host, Kelly Peiffer, Vice President of Marketing Communications, and this is the best part of my day. My hope is that this podcast will encourage, inform, and inspire you, making you feel like at Manor College, you belong here always. Before we get to today's guest, it is time for a segment of the show called Did You Know? For today's did you know that the meaning behind our podcast has some symbolism in its logo? Yes, oftentimes logos are designed to communicate a message or an idea to an audience. Sometimes designers use hidden messages, also known as Easter eggs, and little things can be subtle imagery or clever wordplay. And you might not see it at first glance. So when our team was designing the Nest logo for this podcast, we obviously wanted the logo to look like a bird's nest because it was called the Nest. Our mascot's a blue jay, so that kind of naturally made sense. But we wanted there to be some symbolism that we could point to as well. So we wanted there to be feathers in the nest, and the feathers really convey that a bird was once there, and these are the feathers that remain. So it's a symbolism for our students or Blue Jays who are in our nest when they're students and they're on campus and they're in our, they're in our area. And then when they graduate, they obviously fly away and they leave the nest, but pieces of their feathers always remain with us. That, our alumni and our students, no matter where they are in the world, they always remain and they always have a home in our nest at Manor College. So I love that symbolism that we created. And if you look at the words nest, the E looks like a sideways decibel levels, symbolizing volume and sound intensity, which kind of made sense because we wanted, obviously, the Nest to be a podcast where audio and sound is the main medium that it'll be conveyed. I am now honored to welcome our alumni guest of the day. Today, we have a wonderful guest joining us who is a true testament to the power of hard work and dedication. She's climbed the ladder in the corporate world, all while staying true to her roots. She hails right from here in Philadelphia and is a proud graduate of Samuel Fells High School. Her journey took her to Manor College, where she pursued her passion for business administration. In 2017, she earned her associate in science degree in business administration and was an active member of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. She then transferred to LaSalle University to earn her bachelor's and master's in accounting and finance. Now she's making waves as an senior internal auditor, assistant VP of internal audit at Wells Fargo. She credits her success in part due to the impactful faculty and staff that she had at Manor. We are thrilled to have her with us today to share her story and insights with all of you. Welcome, Deborah Turner.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for that intro.
Yes. Hey, Deb. So let's start at the beginning. How did you hear about Manor College and why did you choose to attend?
So, I heard about Manor through word of mouth, actually. Um, I was actually at another school, and the school that I was at, the program that I was studying in, was no longer uh, available for me to continue my studies with. So, I needed to kind of think of where else to go and do it fast. So, one of my family members brought up Manor, and I actually came in to see Manor and applied, got in, and the rest was history. So, September 2015, I started classes and I finished in May of 2017.
I love that. I think that's great. And I mean, obviously, one school closing, one door closes, another door opens kind of situation. But I'm so happy that Manor was somewhere that you found and could call home for a couple years to get your degree. So tell me, what was it? What was like a day in the life of being a student at Manor like for you? Kind of take us back.
So, very different from anywhere that I've ever been. Like you said, I grew up in the inner city of Philadelphia, so I always was accustomed to being in classrooms where there were a lot of students, a lot of people, a lot of movement. Never really in an intimate learning environment until I got to Manor. So, Manor for me was the place where I kind of got to meet people, of course, from all different cultural backgrounds, but also I got to know my professors in a way that I think if I would have continued down my original path, I probably would not have taken some of the things that I've learned and acquired from Manor to other areas of my life, understanding the importance of, raising your hand, being community oriented in a school environment. Most of us don't look at school as a place where it's it's community oriented, but college for a lot of us is the place where you kind of go to learn how to build your community outside of the community that you've already been given or your family has cultivated for you. So Manor was definitely influential in that respect for me.
Of course, and I think, talking about, like, community style learning and community being a community in a college setting is different than maybe a high school or elementary school.
Mhm.
Where, like, it's more school and you just kinda have different conceptions about it. So
Mhm.
it's cool that you came to Manor and you were like, "Oh, because like, people live here, you eat here, you study here, you maybe you
Mhm.
work here." There's, like, everything's kind of in one. So that's really neat to hear. Um, what were your classes like, and how do you feel that those classes kinda prepared you for then more schooling and getting a bachelor's and a master's and kinda giving you that foundation?
So my classes were very, very, again, you'll probably hear me say it a lot, but it was very intimate, right? I had people from all different ages, people just beginning college, people coming back to college, making a career change or studying something that they might have wanted to study many moons ago. And now they have an opportunity to kind of come in and learn in an intimate environment. The professors that I had were really, really great. They were people who have had experience in the field, or they were still in the field and they were bringing real world experiences right to your classroom. But furthermore, they were actually rooting and invested into your success. They wanted to see you do well, and I think that really speaks to my experience in classroom, but outside of the classroom too, right? Um, Everyone, I would say, every professor that I had was really, really invested in my success overall, whether it was at Manor or wherever I went. They were right there cheering me on, providing opportunities, whether it be advice or making sure that I knew that I had options or opportunities, and it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, I love that. I love, how you said, like, your success was their success and kind of, I think that that speaks so true, and obviously, as a college and as a college professor, you know,
Hmm.
however well the students do is kind of a reflection on you as a professor and as an institution, so obviously, we want our students to be wildly successful, so it's really cool to hear that they were giving you that opportunity and kind of iron sharpens iron, like you were doing things and they were helping you do that. So that's really cool to hear. So obviously, you work in you got your degrees in accounting,
Hmm.
started off in business administration and then kind of move into accounting. How would you say that transition was from business administration to accounting? And why would you recommend accounting as a degree focus for other people?
So business administration is a very broad um, major or field or industry. You have the option to either go into marketing, finance, accounting, for some people, information systems, data analytics, because it's such it gives you a variety of everything. So you're taking a number of different business courses within one program. I chose accounting because it was something that I was extremely passionate about before I chose business administration. So, business administration was the test for me to see if I could not only academically keep up, but if if it was something that I really wanted to continue pursuing. And it happened for me to be something that I kind of stuck with. I recommend accounting as a major or a field to go into. The opportunities are vast, and many people have a misconception about the industry at large. They think that most accountants are tax professionals, or we're and it's not the truth. Not all of us are tax professionals. I've had the wonderful experience to kind of be in a lot of different areas within the accounting industry, whether that be tax, audit, which I'm currently in now, and the bulk of my career has been in advisory as well. So consulting and accounting has been an opportunity where I've met people from all walks of life, but also it's something that's taken me around the world, and continues to be something that is important not only for me as a person of color, but as a woman too, as well, where you're in a male dominated industry and you don't see many people like you. But there is a real need for more of us to be in the industry, but also in the room. We can't effectively create change if we're not there.
Yes, 100% yes. I love that, and I think it's so cool and inspiring to see, you as a first generation college student from Philadelphia, African American woman,
Mhm.
kind of breaking barriers and getting into those. So, do you feel like you've had a seat at the table in some of your roles that you've had in your career, and how do you feel? How is the outlook on that going? Do you feel like we're making progress, or is there still a lot to be done?
I do feel like in my current role, out of all the roles that I've been in, and I've been in a lot of different areas, I feel that I've been really fortunate and blessed to be, and I think I charge this to my upbringing and just being a Philadelphia native. Most of us are very um, outspoken, and growing up in the city and realizing like, hey, if sometimes you have to take the initiative, you have to kind of manage up, you have to be the one that kind of speaks up so that people know that these things are going on, but also people are aware of what's going on. People are just afraid to speak out about it, or they don't speak out about it because it doesn't affect them. So, what I've been doing my entire career is to leave the door open. Like, I don't benefit from being the only, uh and let me preface that I don't benefit being the only black woman at the table or the only black person in the room. I don't benefit from that at all. So it's important that I lift as I climb. And also, when I see other people that look like me, even if they don't look like me, too, right? My job is to be a collaborative team member. So you are only going to be as good as your weakest link. And your weakest link may not be because they lack skill or tenacity or the will to do it. It just may be someone didn't think enough to pull them by the hand or pull them along with them. So I do think we have a ways to go in respect of diversity and inclusion and what we can do to make the environment, especially corporate America, as inclusive as possible. We got to start having the tough conversations and also being aware of what our implicit biases are, what our blind spots are, and how so much of where we come from and where we go to school and our financial standing and all of that plays into how we treat one another on a daily basis when we come into the workplace or we're going into a school. So, but I do see that in some some respects we are making progress, right? You will find partners, and particularly in my field, you will find partners, you will find senior managers, you will find people who want to know what's going on and want to try to make it better for someone that doesn't look like them, and they understand the importance of, you know, this being an environment that is accepting of all people, whether you're black, white, a Asian, a Pacific Islander, a woman, transgender, whatever you are, we need to make sure that we make it inclusive for people to come and feel like it's okay to be them.
Definitely. I love how you said, I need to lift as I grow or lift as I climb.
Hmm.
I mean, definitely not just, growing yourself, but also bringing others along with you and
Hmm.
mentoring them. And that's really neat to see. So have you found in your career journey, moments where you've kind of reflected back and thought like, wow, something that I learned at Manor or at LaSalle or in my higher ed years did help me in
Yeah,
this career thing or in this project or in this experience I'm doing right now?
absolutely, absolutely. I would say um, a few of those things, and I will say Dr. Perry has really been influential in this respect, not only as during my time there, he was the president, but just as a mentor or someone that you can talk to about not only college but real life things. I remember when I was a senior in college at LaSalle, coming from Manor, going to LaSalle, and having to make a decision about where I was going to spend the next few years of my career professionally. And I had a phone call with him that day, and he shared with me some insight around, it's a tough decision. No matter where you go, you'll land on your feet. But one of the pieces of advice that he gave me was, when you go off to be widely successful in whatever you do, don't forget to reach back. It is extremely critical not only to your success but to someone else's success, to pay it forward. Sometimes it's not that people haven't done the work, they're waiting for the opportunity. They're waiting for someone to show up to open the door for them. So as you get these, as Toni Morrison says too, and Dr. Perry said in so many words, as you get these jobs that you so brilliantly trained for, don't forget about the other people who will come behind you. And if you're not focusing on and equity in people, right? If you're not focusing on that, then all you've done has been for nothing. You need to be mindful about how you're treating people, how you are making people feel, but also realizing that you're not responsible for that. And there will be people who just don't get it, right? But don't focus on that. Make sure you leave the door open, leave the light on, so as someone is traveling along their journey, they have a safe house to stop by.
Right, and I think that's such good advice. So good kudos to Dr. Perry, who's our president currently too. But just remember those who can benefit from what you've gone through and can kind of learn and like you said, lift as you climb. Like I think
Hmm.
that's really that kind of is a nice kind of tie in there. So Deborah, what advice would you give to current Manor College students about, who are going through it? Midterms are coming up soon. Maybe they're feeling a little unmotivated right now. Just what advice would you give them to kind of encourage them as someone who's kind of been there, done that, and kind of on
Hmm.
the other side?
A piece of advice I would give them is twofold. One, none of it's permanent. How you are feeling right now, today, in this moment, whether you're overwhelmed with studying or life and having to study, working, whatever it is, it's temporary. This feeling that you have will pass. However, remember your why. While you're going through midterms and you probably are ready to just throw the towel in, or feeling like, oh, I don't need to study as hard or as much, remember your purpose for why you're doing this. And so many of us at Manor are not there just for ourselves. So many of us are first generation graduates, and we're becoming the role models for people coming behind us. And we want to make sure that they look at our path and say that they can do it because we've done it. So do the work. Nothing beats the work but the work. There are no shortcuts. Study hard. Um, do your best. And as long as you do your best, then you've done you've done all that you can do.
I love that. I love working hard obviously is a crucial part of college life, but also being reminded that like this is temporary. You know,
Hmm.
you're not always going to be in a grind studying for something or
Hmm.
working late at night or you know what I mean? It's
Yes,
temporary. It's a maybe a temporary sacrifice for
absolutely.
some fruit to, you know, come later on. So that's really good and a good reminder because it can feel when you're in it like, oh my gosh, I'm
Over
tired
it.
or I'm exhausted, I'm over it, I'm done. But you know, it'll be worth it in the end. You'll be grateful that you did it in the end. Thank
Hmm.
you so much, Deborah, for talking to us today. I think your story is one that will resonate with a lot of our students, and certainly it's really inspiring and encouraging to hear how your life after Manor College has been. So thank you so much for being with us.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. And as always, it's a pleasure. I love coming back and getting to do these types of things. It's really important to me. It's also a part of why I get to do so much that I do is by paying it forward and remembering that it's not robbery. Don't find it robbery to come back to the places that have poured so deeply into you and have invested in you and your success. And Manor has been influential in my start and as a major part of my success too.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you like what you heard, listen and subscribe on Spotify or YouTube and stay up to date with all new episodes by following Manor College on Instagram at Manor College. And that's a wrap on another episode of The Nest Stories about life after Manor College. Remember, Blue Jays, you belong here always.